Um, this movie was rated R for some reason, and nothing happened. I don't remember there being any F-bombs. There was maybe one sex scene that I skipped over. So maybe it was that. And there's only one person that dies in that, which is the piece of shit husband who gets killed by the wife. Honestly, though, the wife did deserve to go to jail. She didn't want her kids to be humiliated and shit. Both the husband and the wife had disorders and were both messed up. His friend got killed by a truck and it messed him up, and he didn't really realize it. And eventually it grew to him having a voice in his head, which was his old friend that died. And the last thing he remembers from his friend was that his friend wanted to kill 2 girls. So now he has this alternate personality called Beatty, which is a combination of their names, Bob and Brian, which I don't get how that works. But it works, I guess. Actually, no, I remember now. They said what his last name was at the last minute. There was 8 minutes left of the movie, and they dropped 3 different bombs on us. I watched this yesterday, but I didn't have a time for a review because I'm currently on vacation, and I watched it in the car with headphones in. But yeah, they dropped 3 different bombs on us. That detective wasn't the best person either, because he was scared out of his fucking mind, and he let a family get murdered. And to make up for it, he let the father burn to death in a car crash that killed the family. And he only talks about it, there's no flashback. And the mother is this perfect family. And 20 minutes in, they rush it so much. We find out that the husband is this awful person, and she tricks him and thinks, hey, we're gonna make it work. And the husband's it's not a movie. It's not a movie. I'm not gonna be the psycho husband chasing after wife, and she's screaming. And they have a decent relationship for a while. He's always eyeing girls. And eventually, their kids get married. Right after marriage, she kills him. Pushes him down the steps. And does actually something really smart. Even though we're supposed to believe that this is the only bad thing she's ever done. She gets this bag, right? And shoves it down his throat. And it's a bag that you would keep refrigerated meat in. Well, I would anyway. I don't know if you guys would. And, just to thaw it out, you'd put it in a big enough bag for it. And then you would put it in the fridge and let it thaw out. Or just let it thaw out on the counter or something if you were going to eat soon. And she shoves it down his throat until he chokes to death. Actually pretends to die and then tries to grab her by the hair, which ends up getting a hair in his mouth. So then she continues to do it after realizes he's not dead. She hurriedly goes to the sink and she washes off the bag to get most of the blood out. And the blood that she can't get out, she puts meat in there. She then calls the police immediately after that, after washing her hands and stuff. And she also shines a light in his mouth to get the hair out. And she actually has a really good excuse on why she took a few minutes to call. Obviously she was freaking out about her husband being dead, because they don't know that she killed him. But she lured him upstairs and pushed him downstairs. And she lured him by pretending she was going to have sex. So she could tell the police that she had to get dressed or something first before she decided to call them, because she had wanted him to come there and her to be naked. I don't know. But I think she still should have went to jail. Because she killed somebody. Even if the person was a piece of shit and killed 12 people. Which I don't think really makes sense. Because they eventually tell us that he killed a total of 12 people. And he's supposed to be this super famous serial killer that's been around since the 80s. And he talks about how he is always feeling like killing somebody. And he's like this guy that thinks everybody's like slutty and shit. Like, oh no, you're wearing shorts? Well, that's a slut. I'm gonna kill you now. That's kind of like his persona, just to show how much of a piece of shit he is. So he ends up like chasing most of them. One of them, though, one of the people, because she's reading a news article that tells how all the victims died, talks about how she had a bunch of bite marks on her. How did they not find the killer? There should have been saliva or something, and the whole fact of having bite marks, that's DNA right there. What do? Use dentures or something? And then just wipe all the saliva off? It makes zero sense. And in the span of 25 years and all these people he's been chasing down, it doesn't really make sense how he only killed 12 people. 25 years, 12 people. But he talks about how he held back for like 2 or 3 years. Then he thought, oh, I would just do one, and then he just kept doing it, right? Well, only 12 people. Though he tortured one of them, apparently. So, I don't know. It just seems weird that a person like him that's that messed up, and he thinks anybody that's like wearing a shorter shorts than he thinks people should wear is gonna get murdered, and he just has to track her down, and he only kills like 12 people when he's been married to his wife for 25 years, and he said he started not too long after marrying her. It just doesn't make really much sense to me, and I still think the wife should have went to jail because she killed somebody, even if the person was awful. But I didn't really like this movie that much. Had some good moments here and there, but it wasn't the best.